Women bear the burden of conflict and often as civilians have to endure the horrors of war, whether in the form of sexual or other violence, the loss of male breadwinners, property, displacement, or the absence of reproductive or other health services. They are affected by conflict in ways very differently to men due to their cultural and societal roles, as war often exacerbates inequalities and injustices that were prevalent before the war. The lack of education or training for women then makes it harder for them to support themselves and their families financially, and food scarcity often means malnourishment for women. This also makes them all the more vulnerable when fighting breaks out because male breadwinners are often lost to families. They may also suffer sexual violence during the course of hostilities or be similarly mistreated afterwards when displaced due to the fighting. While international humanitarian law includes provisions which prohibit discrimination, they do allow for differentiation on the basis of sex. It includes specific protections which provide for additional food and medical care during pregnancy, sanitary requirements, separate dormitories, separate places of detention, etc. Out of around 650 provisions in the Geneva Convention regime, more than 40 are specifically addressed to the protection of women. Moreover, in the terms of enforcement of international humanitarian law, under international criminal law, sexual violence in armed conflicts can be a war crime, genocide, crimes against humanity, or human rights violations as is indicated in the Rome Statute, as well as judgments by the international criminal tribunals. International humanitarian law provisions have been criticized for including outdated notions of honor and chastity, which reflect the time they were drafted rather than focusing on women's inherent human dignity. The ICRC, in its report on the gendered impacts of armed conflict and implications for the application of international humanitarian law, also discusses the importance of meaningful participation of women in decision-making roles. While some argue that arguments for representation are based problematic stereotypes that women are inherently more peaceful than men, perhaps it is better to look at it as a form of simple justice in that women should be in these roles because their lives are what is being dealt with. Thus, they should have a say in any decisions that are made.